Good evening. The Town Hall meeting of the Bel Air Board of Town Commissioners is now in session. It is March the 17th at 7 p.m. and we will take the roll. Commissioner Foss?
Here.
Commissioner Chismar?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
And Commissioner Hanley?
Here.
All right. And who is doing the invocation on today, St. Patrick's Day?
That would be
Commissioner
me.
Foss. All right, great.
Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the safety of our town with the storms last night, and that we were spared any horrific damage to that. We ask that you bless these proceedings, give us wisdom and clarity to represent this wonderful town. And a little Irish blessing. May there always be work for your hands to do. May your purse always hold a coin or two. May the sun always shine on your window pane. May a rainbow be certain to follow each rain. May the hand of a friend always be near you. And may God fill your heart with gladness to cheer you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
All right, if you'll all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion of this evening's agenda? All right, Mr. Kranz?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of this evening's agenda, the Bel Air Board of Commissioners Town Hall meeting on March 17th, 2026. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Thank you.
Next is the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meetings held on February 23rd, 2026 and March 2nd, 2026 be approved as submitted.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Any discussion of the minutes? All right, in that case, we're ready, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for approval of the meeting minutes from February 23rd and March 2nd, 2026. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Thank you.
All right, and next we have our first proclamation for Arbor Day today. Let's see, is this one on? All right, great. If my tree committee members will come up and join me. So we have with us this evening Mike Simony, who is the chair of the tree committee, and Dr. Harkins, who is a member of the tree committee, and Wakar, who's the staff person assigned to the tree committee. And I am the liaison, of course, from the Board of Commissioners. So we have been a Tree City USA for some 30 years. Is that right, Wakar? How many? 33. So that's a long time, and we intend to continue to be a Tree City USA. So today we have the proclamation to declare Bel Air Arbor Day, whereas attention to the quality and health of the urban forest enhances the town's landscape, and whereas the quality of landscape on public and private lands is an important aspect of the urban forest, and whereas providing tree, shrub, and pollinator plantings to expand the urban forest is the goal for Arbor Day 2026, sponsored by the Bel Air Tree Committee with the cooperation of the Department of Natural Resources, Forest Service, the Harford County Forestry Board, and the Harford County Master Gardeners. Therefore, we, the Board of Town Commissioners of the Town of Bel Air, do hereby proclaim that Saturday, April 8th, be designated Bel Air Arbor Day. So we will be enjoying free trees as usual on the opening day of the market. And if you guys would like to say a few words, please take the mic.
Thank you, Paula. Want to thank Paula and the commissioners for supporting us and realizing the importance of trees in the urban environment to reduce pollution, noise pollution, air pollution, and to probably most importantly to improve the morale of the citizens, just to see the trees in that environment. I thank Paula for coming to all of our meetings. And, yeah, and as Paula mentioned, on the first farmer's market on April 11th, we'll be giving away free tree seedlings. I can't remember how many years it is, but it's at least 8 or 9 years. We've been giving away, we'll have about 400 trees, 6 different species, beginning at 8 o'clock on April 11th. And if you want trees, get there early, because usually a big line and they go quick. I think they like the price, no charge. But I'll be there going crazy as usual. But I think it's worth it to keep promoting trees in the urban environment. And I thank everyone again. Thank Waqar and Kevin before, and also for supporting us. Thank you.
Now we have the photo op, so if
Did you
everybody
wanna-
will come down and join me.
Do you want to say anything?
Sure, I'll say something. I'd also like to thank Mr. Samini here for serving as our tree committee chair for so long, and he's really the push behind this Arbor Day giveaway as well. He arranges it, he helps us select native trees, and encourages everybody to come. So I would encourage anybody here who would like a good, decent-sized tree to come and get one, and encourage your neighbors as well. It does beautify our whole town. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your service.
You're welcome.
You get to hold this. We're gonna step up here and have photographs taken.
Come right over here, you're in the center of
Exactly.
the proclamation.
You guys get to be in the center. Certainly not me. I've really enjoyed being a liaison to the tree committee because I have learned a lot. First of all, those tree volcanoes are not good for your trees. You can learn much more at the committee website. On the town's website, we have a section for them. The opening day of the farmer's market will be the Arbor Day, the tree giveaway day. All the trees are free, and they will also have instructions on how to plant them and any other information or questions you might have. They'll be there at the table to answer. So it'll be a great day. Spring is coming. It will be here.
No, and I'd just like to say that you make up a key factor or a key driver in keeping the town green. I mean, I think what makes this town a town and a place to live in is the green space and the trees. I know you do a lot of work with that. And the citizens need to know that they're a resource that you can use. And I used them recently when, unfortunately, somebody cut down a black walnut tree in our yard. And we came to them and said, what do we want to replace it with? What would be a good native tree to replace that with? And you gave us some great advice on that. And that's what any resident in town could actually come to the committee and ask about, you know, planting options for their property, so.
Absolutely, and these are just two of the members of the tree committee. There is a wealth of knowledge and experience across all the members. So certainly, if anyone has any questions about what to plant, how to plant it, that's the place to go. They know what they're doing.
That's great to know. I never knew that. Now I know that who I can go to. Thank you.
All right. We're going to move on now to our public hearings. Our first public hearing is on ordinance 852-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 37, elections. We're going to open the public hearing at 7:10 PM on March the 17th. And is there anyone here that wishes to comment on this piece of legislation? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing on ordinance 852-26. Moving on to ordinance 853-26, amending the Town Code, Chapter 82, Personnel Section 82-3B5. Is there any member of the public here this evening that wishes to comment on this particular piece of legislation? All right, so we have opened and closed the public hearing on 853-26 at 7:10 as well. Moving on to ordinance 854-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 3, Signs, Article 15, Sign Regulations, Section 165-106B2B3C regarding freestanding signs. We're going to open the public hearing at 7:11 PM. Is there any member of the public here this evening that wishes to comment on ordinance 854-26? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 7:11 on ordinance 854-26 and move on to ordinance 855-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning, Article 3, Establishment and Regulation of Zoning Districts, Section 165-35, Permitted Use Tables. We'll open the public hearing at 7:11 PM. Is there any member of the public here that wishes to comment on ordinance 855-26? And seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 7:11 PM on ordinance 855-26 and move on to ordinance 856-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning, Article 7, Development and Performance Standards, Section 165-53, Performance Standards and Development Guidelines by Use, amending the guidelines in Section 165-53B, 2B, and adding guidelines in Section 165-53H2D. So we'll open the public hearing at 7:12. Is there any member of the public here that wishes to comment on ordinance 856-26? And seeing none, we will close the public hearing on ordinance 856-26 at 7:12 PM. Moving on to the last public hearing for this evening on ordinance 857-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Section 165-11, Board of Town Commissioners to add a reference to Maryland Code Alcoholic Beverages and Cannabis, Section 22-1602 regarding waivers and related procedures and notices. We'll open the public hearing on ordinance 857-26 at 7:13 PM. Is there any member of the public here that wishes to comment on this ordinance? And seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 7:13 PM on ordinance 857-26 as well. So moving on to unfinished business, we have ordinance 852-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 37, elections. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that ordinance 852-26, amending Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 37, elections, be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. Any discussion of ordinance 852-26? I know we've talked about this in closed session and open session several times. It is housekeeping matters only, really. Any further discussion from anyone? No? All right, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the vote on ordinance 852-26, Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Eddy.
Aye.
The ordinance is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, under old business, unfinished business, we have ordinance 853-26, amending the Town Code, Chapter 82, Personnel Section 82-3B5. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that ordinance number 853-26, amending Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 82, Personnel Section 823B5, be approved by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Hanley. All right, any discussion of the ordinance 853-26?
Yes, I just wanted to just respectfully disagree with the premise of it. I feel that we hire town administrator, quite capable, quite amazing, does a fabulous job, and I think we need to trust him in the hiring of the deputies. Also, I feel like we are for governance, and this goes into managerial and operations.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. I completely agree with your premise that we hire a great town administrator who's very capable and trust him completely. Where I disagree is in seeing this additional oversight as in any way undermining the authority of the town administrator. All this legislation simply does is add to the process that already exists for directors, the positions of deputy directors. And I think that that's a wise and prudent move in terms of oversight. And I think that the process that we've had for directors is a good one. I'm not seeking to change it. This bill does not change it. It just expands to whom it applies. And so that's why I brought the bill forward. But I certainly appreciate where you're coming from, and I understand the dissent.
I likewise am very impressed with the abilities of our town administrator, and certainly this is not meant to be a critique of his abilities at all, but I do agree with Commissioner Taylor that we should expand the oversight by the board for the hiring of deputies, as well as we already, from just the directors themselves, since often we are looking at deputies as perhaps maybe being trained and will eventually perhaps take over the position of the directors. And certainly we will not be micromanaging the directors or the deputy directors on a daily basis. It won't affect anyone that is currently a deputy director. It will only be for new hires and only at the hiring process. So I am comfortable with moving forward on this ordinance in a positive sense, but I certainly understand your position, and as always, we will have some disagreement amongst the board. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, this is something that, in a way, can kind of go either way, but I like the fact that because it's typically the deputy director gets kind of promoted to the director's spot, and when you're grooming that. And we're really not actually getting into the selection process per se. We're still leaving that up to the town administrator to go through all the applicants and come up with he thinks is best, and then we just have a discussion afterwards like we've had in the directorship jobs. And it's so to come up with we kind of agree unless there's something, and I think we'll always agree unless there's something that really stands out different with any candidate. But I think I don't think it's harming anything by doing that, and I think getting another set of eyes on a person that's going to have a significant impact on the town's operation isn't a bad idea. That's all.
I'd like to acknowledge we did receive some written public comment, which I always appreciate. I don't think, however, that we rushed this along in any way. I went back and looked. We began discussing this February 10th, so over a month ago. Went through the standard procedure. And I think we're going to continue to rely on the directors, their expertise. It's just, it's basically, I see it as a stamp of approval. The representative body, we went over we followed the recommendations, and we're okay with it. So I support this.
I would actually add, Commissioner Hanley, this process was slightly longer than the normal process for this particular piece of legislation. If you recall, this particular piece of legislation was introduced in February. We're now a month later. The reason we did that was so that we could package it in with all these development regulations. Development regulations require a little bit longer in terms of public hearing than other amendments to the code. And so this actually got treated, not because we had to, but because we chose to, like it was a development regulation. So we even gave it a little bit extra time to marinate in the court of public opinion than we otherwise would have. So I really think the opposite of rushing it along, we slow-walked it a little bit and gave some extra time that we were not required to under the code. So I do think that that's relevant to point out tonight.
All right. Anyone else have any further comments on ordinance 853-26? All right. We're ready, Mr. Krantz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the vote on ordinance 853-26, Commissioner Foss,
Nay.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is approved. Thank you.
Next, we have ordinance 854-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 3 Signs, Article 15, Sign Regulations, Section 165-106B2, B3C, regarding freestanding signs. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair?
I'm sorry,
Yes,
not
ma'am.
to interrupt. There's an issue with the rest of the ordinances. They have not been referred to the Planning Commission. So under the code, the board has to refer it to the Planning Commission because it's revising the development regulations in order to get comments back. So I recommend the board's motion. I'm sorry to kind of change in midstream. I didn't realize it until just now. But the motion to refer should be to refer to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission right now is tentatively scheduled for April the 2nd.
Okay.
So then it would come back before you guys in April, okay? Sorry about that.
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of this and move that ordinances 85426, 85526, 85626, and 85726 be laid on the table.
All right, do I have a second?
I will second that.
All right, and Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is to approve the motion to lay ordinance 854, 855, 856, and 857 on the table for future consideration. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Motion is approved.
Thank you for that catch, Town
Yes.
Council.
Yeah, we didn't want to get outside.
And thank you for taking care of that, Commissioner Taylor. So we will now move on to new business, ordinance 858-26, amending the Bel Air Town Code, Chapter 165, Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulations, Part 2, Zoning Article 9, Special Provisions of Modifications, Section 165-64, Special Provisions to add Section F, Development Rights and Responsibilities Agreement, DRRA. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of Town Commissioners receive ordinance 85826, an ordinance amending Article 9 of the Development Regulations within Chapter 165 of the Bel Air Town Code to establish development rights and responsibilities agreements provisions pursuant to Maryland Code annotated Land Use Article Section 7-301 et sequentia, including all other related sections within the statute.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. And do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. All right.
So
So usually
What-
at this point, Kevin Small would address these issues. So Wakar, are you going to be taking
could.
care of that?
60.
The town of Bel Air is required under the Maryland Land Use Article to maintain consistency between its development regulations and the town of Bel Air comprehensive plan. The land use article authorizes municipalities to adopt planning and zoning controls to protect public health, safety, and welfare, including the review and vesting of new development. This ordinance proposes amendments to Article 6, provisions and modifications within Chapter 165 of the Town Development Regulations. These amendments introduce Development Rights and Responsibilities Agreement, DRRA, provisions consistent with Maryland Code Annotation Land Use Article Section 7-301 et sec, establishing a framework for approving multi-phase development and negotiating enhanced public benefits in exchange for project vesting. The purpose is to align town development regulations with state enabling legislation for DRRAs, establishes criteria, procedures, and requirements for considering DRRA petitions, identifies required elements of a DRRA, including property information, permitted uses, density, height, duration, and public benefits, delegates authority for negotiation and execution following approval to the town administrator, outlines procedures for planning commission review, public hearings, amendments, terminations, enforcement, and recordation, and provides a regulatory pathway for multi-phase projects to achieve predictable vested rights while securing public benefits. There will be no immediate fiscal impact. Enhanced public benefit provisions may generate infrastructure, public facility improvements, or other community benefits at the applicant's expense. And town staff recommends that the board receive ordinance number 858-26.
Thank you very much. All right. Discussion amongst the board?
Yeah, I kind of proposed bringing this legislation back up after we talked about it before, and I just think it's a good thing to have in our toolbox. I think it's great for phased projects and that are going to be handled over time. You know, the only thing that we're really giving up, per se, is vesting, and I think we have done a good job with of changing the regs to where we like them now for right-sizing our communities. So by doing this, I think we can get exactions from the developer that would enhance the project and for the community. That we wouldn't, and this process kind of works like they would want to initiate a DRA with us, and they would have to come in with like a mini site plan and maybe some concept drawings and some of that nature to see what the project is like, because we have to have an idea of, like, say there's residential units or square footage of commercial space, because we need to know the value of the project to understand how much exactions will be warranted for the thing. A very small project, not too many exactions. Where a very large project, you would. So that would then this gives the town administrator the authority to negotiate with them. We would come up with potentially proposed exactions that we might like to see, and we would see these plans that they're proposing. If I understand the process correctly, and Ms. Thompson, tell me if I'm wrong, and then Mr. Hopkins would negotiate with the developer, and then those exactions that we kind of agreed on, and then the formal plans that the Planning Commission requires would go before the Planning Commission. Those would be the engineering site plans, the landscape plans, and all of that. And they would have to be approved, both the exactions so that they fit within the comprehensive plan and that the project fits all our development regs. Then it would come back to us, and we have the option of continuing on with the DRA and saying, yeah, let's do this, and we get the exactions, or we say no, in which case they already have an approved project through the Planning Commission and we get no exactions. And the only thing like I said, the only thing we're giving up is now we would be giving up the vesting. In other words, we could not change any development regs that we wanted to. But if we wanted to change development regs, then we say no to the project and we could change the regs. We could say no to the DRRA. So our options are still there. Okay, so until that thing is signed, we get to know exactly what the exactions are that the developer agrees to, what the project is that the Planning Commission approved, and we can say yay or nay to it. It just gives us the ability to potentially get something more out of that development project for the community than what we would normally have. I know some raised concerns about what about a future board or whatever in the future? Well, a future board can pass this legislation and then use it. It doesn't matter. They could change all the regulations that we've passed to date up until, and do that. So I don't think we can look at the future use of it. It's like, what can we do? What do we think we can use it for? And again, it's all optional on our part. We don't have to agree to this on an individual project. It's just something there that if we see an opportunity, we could use it. And the other thing that the developer may get out of it is the certainty aspect of it, which means that they might get a better, their financing might be easier to come by. Well, that's a side, that's not why we're doing it, But if we can help them get the financing and accomplish an approved project, well, you know, why not? But that's not why we're doing it, but it's just a side effect that you can get out of this, a secondary plus up. So it's, I don't know, I think it's not good for every project, but I think there are projects that it would be useful for.
I very much understand where you're coming from, Commissioner Chismar, and I do not question the sincerity with which you bring this legislation to the board at all. In a manner of explaining my vote tonight, I will be voting to receive it. I remain very skeptical of the underlying issue, but I'll be voting yes on reception tonight because I do think it merits further conversation. And really just out of courtesy to the fact that I think you and I have very similar values when it comes to, you know, the way that we want to steward the town forward. And I think it would be wrong to cut off discussion since you're very passionate about this, and I think you deserve to be heard out on this. I continue to have reservations about the impact that this would have on the integrity of the code should one of these deals be entered into. I will, you know, ask questions further when the time is right on that topic. Maybe put in a phone call to the town council to discuss some of those questions that I have. But I will be voting yes tonight for those reasons, though for the record I remain unsold on the underlying topic.
Just to, we're trying to schedule a closed session on some other matters. If the board would like to add that to that agenda, not to overload you guys, but I'm here. I'll be here. So.
I'm willing to receive this tonight as well. I'm, like Jake, I'm not sold, but, you know, I'm willing to keep an open mind and deliberate and discuss this. To be upfront, I mean, there's one project in town that this is relevant to. Moving forward, you know, we don't know. I know you had mentioned a future board could, you know, they could pass it themselves. Well, if a future board, if they want it, you know, they could enact the legislation. I'm not sure. I totally understand from a developer's perspective, you know, they get the vesting and then they are able to implement their phase project, and I hear about the exactions and enhanced public benefit, but there's you know, I haven't seen how the enhanced public benefit is equivalent to vesting, because I understand how valuable that is. So I just want to make sure the town comes out on top in a situation like this.
I share Commissioner Hanley and Commissioner Taylor's concerns about it, but likewise, I will vote to receive it so we can consider it further. As far as I can remember, currently the legislature is pondering an early vesting, but only for residential projects, Ms. Thompson? Okay, so we're really just talking about commercial projects here that we would be applying this to.
Correct, and it's unclear how it would impact mixed use. Excuse me, I think the position of the town would be, you know, what's the underlying comprehensive plan designation? If it's commercial, then it's commercial. It's, you know, mixed use hasn't really been, unfortunately, addressed by the General Assembly, as a lot of things are, but that would be my position.
Which is odd, since that is like the new in thing.
Yeah.
Is mixed use, so.
Yes, I agree.
For what it's worth, I've been following that bill, and it does, this year it does appear poised to pass, I think. I think Maryland will be cutting to the front of the line when it comes to residential vesting, is my sense.
Way to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Even before the front of the line.
Some of the other
It's
governor's
ridiculous.
housing bills, like the, as I've affectionately dubbed it, the We Hate Single Family Homes Act, seem to be on shakier ground.
Good.
They seem to be on thinner ice, but it does seem like the so-called Housing Certainty Act is doing rather well in hitting its marks, what it needs to do in order to make sure that it gets to the governor's desk before sine die.
And it did very well last legislative session. I think they ran out of time.
They did, you know, very well. It did very well in the House. It got jammed up in the Senate because it was reported out the Friday before sine die, and because MACO was in strong opposition. They knew that with there only being a couple hours in session left, that if they were loud enough about it, they could probably kill it, and they gambled correctly on that. They were right. The governor and Jake Day made a concerted effort to make sure that MACO and MML came in with, let's say, a much less strident tone this year, and they were successful. They came in favorable with amendments. A lot of those things, I think, have been worked out. I'll admit to my own personal disappointment in MML's position, but I also understand their position in terms of having to fight the battles that they have to fight and choosing which battles they fight. That being said, I've seen some of the other battles that they do choose to fight, and I scratch my head why this wasn't one of them, but I'll leave that to the side for now because that's over now. That has already happened. That battle has been fought. I haven't checked. I know that this passed out. I know the Housing Certainty Bill passed out of the Senate Triple E Committee. I do not know if it has passed out of the Senate to go over to the House, but since it's passed out of the committee, it will certainly get over to the House before crossover, which is Monday. So we're actually coming up on that quite soon.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Any further discussion before we take a vote to receive it?
I just wanted to add, this would go with the rest of the development regs to the Planning Commission on April 2nd. So I'd be curious to see what their thoughts are and their comments are as well. So again, April 2nd is when that's tentatively supposed to be. Thank you.
And so we would be able to take care of all of these by our meeting on the 6th?
I would imagine so.
Okay.
Yeah. Or at least
Certainly the other ones I know we'll be able to
yeah,
take care of on
those
the
are
6th.
yeah. This one I think you have to have a public hearing, obviously,
Right.
so it'd be scheduled.
Mr. Krantz, is the 6th, is that enough time for that 2 weeks? Have you done that math?
I'm actually checking that out right now.
Okay.
If, for the ordinance 854, 855, 856, and 857, they were all introduced on the 17th. It looks like the code requires the board to make a decision within 60 days of introduction.
Right.
So cutting it close.
But
That's
we're
for
good
sure.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because the town hall meeting would be, let me see where my calendar is. The April town hall meeting. is-
April 6th.
It's because the planning commission's on the 2nd.
Right.
Yes. I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Foss, did you want?
I had just a couple questions about it, but I thought that, would this be the time to?
Sure.
Oh, I had a question about the one where it says the purpose, that it provides a regulatory pathway for multi-phase projects to achieve predictable vested rights while securing public benefits. Predictable vested rights. This is on page, what? I don't, can you explain that?
Sure. Let me make sure that I'm on the same page as you. You're in the whereas? Oh, in the port report. Okay.
The one that, what car, yeah,
Okay.
read from.
So what that means is, under Maryland law, right now, without a DRRA, in order for a project to get vested rights, meaning vested rights are, they have a project, they have approval, they've moved forward, and the legislative body of the zoning in this case, the board, say they want to change something, density, setbacks, heights, whatever. If a project is vested, and that means they have a valid building permit and they have commenced construction, okay? Those new changes to the law do not impact that development. So they're under the previous version of the code once they got the building permit, okay? So that could be months, that could be years, depending on the scope of the project. I mean, let's just take the obvious, your Four Corners, right? Those are major commercial developments. If there's a redevelopment, if there's a reconstruction, if there's a tear down, or there's a build, those are going to be into the tens of millions of dollars invested by the developer to get engineering, water, sewer, permits, you know, everything that they need to get. Well, while they're getting all of that and they're moving forward, the board could say, nah, I don't want to do this anymore, and they could change the law. So then they would have to comply if they don't have a building permit and they're not under construction. So what the law says, the DRRA says, is that we recognize that vesting can be a long process, okay, in order to achieve it. So what you're doing is that the developer is giving the municipality or the governmental entity an exaction, and then in exchange for an exaction or exactions, they get vested as of the date of the agreement. And an exaction is something that is, number one, not ordinarily required under the code, okay? So it has to be something extra. And I say this kind of benignly, not intentionally, but it could be a lot of different things. It could be run us a sewer line. It could be build us a park. It could be replace this or replace that. Either give us the cash and we'll do it, or you have to do it. And it has to benefit the town citizens only. So it's not like they could go out into the county and build a park and say, ha, I got it. Has to be here within the municipal limits of the town and to the benefit of the residents of the town. Does that explain it?
It does, and I understood that from our meeting. I think what just threw me off was the predictable.
Okay, so it's predictable because under the state law, which would be adopted by the board, the state law says they are vested as of the date of the DRR agreement, when everyone signs off. When this board approves it, when he signs off, the developer signs off. So on that last date, they are vested. So if you guys change the code the next day, even though they haven't gotten a building permit, even though they haven't started construction, they are vested. That new law doesn't apply to them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any further questions or discussion? All right, Mr. Krantz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is for the vote to receive ordinance 858-26. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismark,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The ordinance is received, and the public hearing is scheduled for the following town hall meeting, not the next one.
Right, April 6th will be
April
the
6th, that's right, thank you.
public hearing. All right, next under new business, we have Resolution 1263-26, fee schedule amendments regarding tax sale fees. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that Resolution 1263-26, amending the town's fee schedule to be received by the Board of Town Commissioners.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. And Ms. Walkenfuss?
So staff is recommending an amendment to the fee schedule for tax sales because of HB 59 property tax sales revision that was amended during the 2025 legislative session, signed into law by the governor on April 22nd, 2025, and is effective January 1, 2026. A change is that the tax collector is no longer allowed to collect any delinquent tax, new delinquent taxes before the property can be redeemed. This is the reason for the elimination of the $12 property cert tax sale redemption certification fee. And Hartford County will no longer advertise properties in 2 short ads, which was done in the month of April, along with the 2 other municipalities and the county. We've decided that we will no longer advertise as well to follow county precedent. This is the reason for the elimination of the $15 advertisement for the first 2 advertisements, because we will no longer be doing them.
Thank you very much. And these changes are things being driven by changes in the statutes in Annapolis,
Yes.
generally. Thank you. Any further questions?
We're still advertising once, right?
We're actually advertising 4 times. The county will be advertising 4 times in May.
Okay. And that's $20 per property per advertisement?
Yes.
Okay.
Just for anyone listening, there's no rate adjustments in this, correct?
Correct.
All right.
This is strictly for those who have not paid their taxes and are going to tax sale, and they get written notices, there are advertisements, and there's a process set up in the state code, which we follow. There have been some changes to the state code where they're making it somewhat more difficult to sell properties at tax sale.
Correct.
And we are implementing those in our code as well.
And so what precisely was the tax sale redemption certificate?
So if somebody's property was sold at tax sale, they would have to come in and pay any delinquent taxes they owed or
Right.
utilities as of that date that they were coming in. And then we issued them a certificate, which we charged $12 for, and they took it to the county to prove to the county that they were up to date paying
I see.
everything with
Okay.
us.
Okay. And that certificate simply won't exist anymore?
Correct, the county doesn't require it anymore.
Okay, got it.
Any further questions? All right, and there's no members of the public here, as there were not for the prior DRA ordinance, so we will have no public comment on these today. There will be a public hearing at a later date. And Mr. Krantz, we're ready for a
Thank
vote?
you, Madam Chair. This is a vote to receive Resolution 1263-26. Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
The resolution is received for a public hearing to be held on April 6th.
All right, and our last item under new business this evening is the mowing contract. May I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the terms and conditions of Harford County Government Contract Agreement Number 24-200 with J.D. Lawn Services Incorporated, 539 Craigs Corner Road, Havre de Grace, Maryland, to provide mowing and landscaping services be also accepted by the Board of Town Commissioners for a contract not to exceed $47,200.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Chismar. All right, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, ma'am. This contract will include seasonal mowing and trimming services at Plumtree Park, Alice Ann Park, Homestead Park, Town Hall, and Shamrock Park, Rockfield Park, and the parking garage. The town is afforded the opportunity of piggybacking on the terms and conditions obtained by Harford County Government Contract Number 24-200. By doing so, the town can continue to receive excellent pricing for mowing services because of the large quantities that the county government bids. The town's procurement regulations allow for competitive bids from other Maryland jurisdictions to be used to purchase goods and services. J.D. Lawn Services has provided mowing service for the town for the past 18 years. J.D. has always been very reliable and accommodating to all our needs. The staff recommends that the terms and conditions of Harford County Government Contract Agreement Number 24-200 with J.D. Lawn Services to provide mowing and landscaping services to also be accepted by the Board of Town Commissioners for a contract not to exceed $47,200.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klein. Any questions for Mr. Klein on the mowing contract? All right, spring will be here very soon, and we'll need somebody out there mowing everything, so. There are no questions. Mr. Krantz, we're ready. There's no member of the public here for any public comment, so we will dispense with that and move on to a vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the vote on the mowing contract, Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismar,
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Contract is approved. Thank you.
All right, public announcements. All Town of Bel Air offices will be closed on Friday, April the 3rd in observance of Good Friday. Visit our website or social media pages for more on how trash pickup will be affected that week. Swing into spring with an evening with the Ain't Misbehaving Big Band concert on Thursday, March the 26th in the Bel Air Armory. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the show starts at 7 p.m. This 18-piece band is known for performing hits from the 30s to the 70s. You can dance along or sit back and enjoy the music. Tickets are $10 per person and can be purchased in advance online at either belairarmory.org or Eventbrite. Thank you to the Bel Air Cultural Arts Commission for their support of this event. Rockfield Manor will host the Bunny Brunch and Egg Hunt on Saturday, March the 28th. Tickets will get you an all-you-can-eat buffet breakfast, crafts for kids, pictures with the Easter Bunny, and an egg hunt. Adults are $25, children $10, and kids younger than 1 year old are free. 2 seatings for breakfast are available at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Visit rockfieldmanor.com/events to purchase tickets. The Harford's Harvest Winter Market for 2026 concludes on Saturday, March the 28th. The market will be open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Mary Bristow Building parking lot at 2 South Bond Street. Visit the Harford's Harvest Winter Market pages on Facebook and Instagram for more information. Following the Winter Market, opening day for the Bel Air Farmers Market will be Saturday, April the 11th from 11 a.m. to noon, also in the Bristow Building parking lot at 2 South Bond Street. The Bel Air Tree Committee will be giving away tree seedlings in honor of Arbor Day during the market, free while supplies last, so get there early. The annual Bel Air Kite Festival happens on Saturday, April the 11th as well, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the Rockfield Park Athletic Fields. Join us for this wonderful Bel Air spring tradition with food trucks and free kites while supplies last. The Cecil Harford County chapter of the Maryland Municipal League is offering its annual scholarship opportunity to local high school seniors. Submit the application along with an essay about the importance of municipal government to the community by May the 1st for a chance to earn a $1,000 scholarship. For an application, visit your school's guidance office or contact Chapter Representative Adam Hobb at ahiob@aberdeenmd.gov. You also can visit our website, bellairmd.org, to download a copy. The Cultural Arts Commission will meet at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, March the 18th in the Bel Air Armory Conference Room. The Committee for Seniors and Citizens in Need will meet at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, March the 26th in the Bel Air Police Department Community Room. The Historic Preservation Commission will meet at 6 p.m. on Thursday, March the 26th in Bel Air Town Hall. The Board of Town Commissioners will hold a work session at 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 31st in Town Hall, and the next Town Hall meeting will be at 7 p.m. on Monday, April the 6th, also in Town Hall. Starting to be a busy spring. Did I miss anything? Does anyone have any other things to add? Yes, sir.
Just one thing. Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, and this was just posted today, but the Hartford's Harvest Winter Market, their last day will actually be Saturday, April the 4th. They just posted on their Facebook page today that they're extending to an Easter market. So again, that'll be Saturday, April the 4th, the day before Easter, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the Risteau Building parking lot to
Terrific.
South
So we
Pond
won't
Street.
have any break at all. We'll have markets all through the winter and pick up right again the next weekend with the opening of the farmer's market, and spring will have been here. So thank you so much, David Anderson, for that addition. Anything else that we've missed? All right, there's no member of the public here to make a public comment, so we will move on to commissioners' comments.
I have two comments, Madam Chair. First is directed at the Town Administrator and the Director of Public Works. I want to thank you both for your attentiveness during yesterday's storm, which turned out to be not so bad. But it's important that people recognize that especially local emergency preparedness officials are really only dealing with the information that we get from the folks with the technology at the national level. And so it is always, always, always better to be more prepared than you need to be than to be less prepared and be hit with something devastating. So I'm glad that we weren't hit with anything really devastating last night. I know that there were some people whose trash might have blown away, and that's always unfortunate. Maybe some yard signs that got kicked up and as we're approaching election season, but nothing catastrophic, and that's a good thing. And it's good that we were able to reconvene tonight so that if the storm had been worse, no members of the public were put in harm's way. We were able to live stream, no power went out. All of that was, I think, the prudent decision to make. And to the Chief of Police, today is the feast day of St. Patrick. And to you, sir, I say, St. Patrick, pray for us. We made it through the weekend, it seemed, without any terrible incident, and I'm sure that the good citizens of Bel Air will get us through tonight as well.
Let's knock on some wood.
That's right. But we thank you for all that you do, especially when our citizens are reveling on these feast days.
Reveling and a lot of other things.
I just also wanted to, we talked about it, and Angela and I were talking about it today at the Bel Air Downtown Alliance, but the tree at the corner of at Lee Street and Main Street, and that tree and those parking spots that had kind of made it an unsafe situation. And wow, by Friday it was done. So thank you so much.
I also wanted to extend my appreciation to the town administrator, all the town staff, particularly Public Works and the police department for being right yesterday. You can just never tell, and I know trees go down, trucks have to go out, stuff has to be moved because, they have to be open. So I appreciate the preparedness. Thankfully, it was nothing more than a few trash cans that got blown away, maybe some signs. I saw some branches down around town, but, nothing really major. I kept my trash in the garage until this morning because out of an abundance of caution, because that wind could really have been just monstrous. So fortunately it wasn't, and I join Commissioner Taylor in wishing you the best of luck with the rest of the shenanigans for St. Patrick's Day. I heard some people were doing bacon and beer this morning. I do not understand it, but, my hat's off to them, and I hope everybody gets home safe and in one piece. And tomorrow is a work day for most everyone, so bear that in mind. Anyone else?
Just want to know whose idea was it to have this meeting on St. Patrick's Day as opposed to Wednesday? You're
gonna-
cutting into our festivity time.
I'm going to blame the town commissioner for
Okay.
that. I mean, the town administrator
Administrator.
for that, yeah. But I'm glad we could all, be very flexible and get everything done. We had quite a few pieces of business to advance, so I'm glad we got it finished.
Yep.
And I'm also glad it wasn't a terrible storm last night. So with that, anyone else have any comments?
Just want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to all. I hope everybody enjoyed the town this weekend and tonight. Get home safely. No reason to get behind the wheel. Call an Uber, walk home. I want everybody to get home safely. Your family's waiting for you. Your dog is waiting for you. We want everybody to be safe.
All right. And with that,
Hey, ma'am, I'd like to add one more thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The traffic task force is in town, so just throwing some support to what Commissioner Hanley said. Just be safe, because if you overindulge, there will be officers out there looking for things.
and
Yeah.
what a terrible end to your St. Patrick's Day celebration that would be. I agree with Commissioner Hanley. Call an Uber, call a friend, walk home. Call your mom, call your dad. They'll be happy to come pick you up. Call somebody. Don't drive if you're under the influence. So with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe St. Patrick's Day. And do I have a motion? May I have a motion to move into closed session?
Yes, I move that this portion of the meeting will be closed under the provisions of the Maryland Open Meetings Act, General Provisions Act, Section 3-305B1. Topics of discussion: to discuss the potential appointments of the Director of Planning and Zoning and the Financial Director positions. Reasons for a closed session: discussion of the above topics. Because public discussion of candidates' names, qualifications, experience, and background could discourage people from applying for employment or compromise their privacy rights.
Thank you, Commissioner Foss. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion of the motion? All right, and as always, once we end our closed session, we will be conducting no further public business, but we'll be adjourning for the evening. And with that, Mr. Krantz, we're ready for a vote.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the vote to move into closed session, Commissioner Foss,
Aye.
Commissioner Chismore,
Aye?
Commissioner Taylor,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanley,
Aye.
and Chair Edding.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion is approved, and we're moving into closed session.